Good morning, welcome to Thriving Talks. Anthony. Today we're going to have an insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental conversations and content that's beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being. But in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about how to stay motivated when life gets tough, right? So I want to be able to provide research-backed strategies and compassionate insights to help maintain motivation, resilience, and optimism through life, most challenging moments and difficult times, right? So in our introduction, we're going to be talking about the reality of losing motivation, right? So we all got to face it. Life, isn't easy, but it is manageable. Let's be real. We can navigate through with the mindset, the positive mindset. But whether stress, a loss, burnout, or unexpected setbacks, we all hit those moments when we're steady, focusing on that motivation, and it may feel impossible. But you're not alone. We're going to be exclusively dive into motivation slips, and more importantly, how to reunite that and get back into the groove when life gets tough. So our key point, we're going to talk about acknowledging struggles. It's okay not to be okay. This is part of being human, right? We all have these feelings. We all have these emotions. It's something that we're all, connected with. That's why socialization is really important. We got to be tied to each other because we have, some of these connections in regards to, life circumstances. Next is going to be that myth of consistent motivation. No one feels motivated all the time. What matters is how we respond to motivation, when it fades. When it comes to research from 2012 published by the Clinical Psychology Review, found that self-compassion during difficult times leads to greater emotional resilience and better long-term motivation compared to self-criticism, right? So it's better for us to have a positive mindset, look at things with a more compassionate outlook than to really self-sabotage and have a negative mindset, because we're just going to be stuck in isolation, we're not really moving, we're stagnant. So it's better for us to have that peppy kind of positive mindset to help us navigate through, to give us that resilience, right? And research is backed by that. Let's dive into our next segment in regards to why motivation disappears under stress. All right, so when life gets tough, our brain goes to a survival mode, and we got to take that into consideration because it's direct impact to our ability in regards to how we stay focused and motivated. And here's why. So a key point is going to be stress in the brain, right? So chronic stress triggers the amygdala, right? So the fear center, while reducing activity in the prefrontal cortex. This area is responsible for the goal setting and focusing, right? So we're stressing out, it's affecting our brain, and we're in that survival mode as we just discussed. So it really makes it hard for our body to perform at its high, level. Next is going to be emotional exhaustion. So when your emotionally bandwidth is low, even a small task that feels like a big burden, right? So we feel as if we can't do what we want to do. We're exhausted. This is affecting, like I said, the way that we're able to perform. Next is going to be loss of purpose or clarity, right? So in hardship, often clouds our goal and sense of direction, right? So this is affecting our motivation. This is affecting, how we feel, how we're able to operate. And as we just talked about areas of the brain, this is really affecting the mental health, how we're able to, operate. In regards to, according to a Journal of the Neuroscience in 2010, found that high stress disturbs the brain reward system, reducing dopamine and lowering motivation levels, right? So like I said, this is affecting how we're operating. This is affecting, how we're able to, navigate through, and this is the challenge. Our next segment, we're going to be talking about grounding yourself in purpose, right? So we got to realize we're here for a reason, right? So when things get tough, we got to really reconnect with our purpose, right? And this serves as an anchor to remind us that our goals matter, even when things feel heavy and things feel tough. So a key point I want to talk to you is going to be revisit your why, right? So purpose fuels your perseverance, right? So ask yourself, what do I care about? What am I doing this for? What is my purpose, right? Why am I doing this, right? So have critical thinking, really assess yourself, and this is really going to help you understand your purpose and getting back into that self-compassion to get things, started in regards to your motivation. Next is going to be micro missions, right? So break your goals into smaller, meaningful steps to tie back your values, right? So breaking things into smaller goals is going to be making things more manageable, helping you get back into the groove and that motivation to get things done, to get things complete. Next is going to be identity-driven motivation, right? So instead of saying, I have to do this, shift this to, this is who I am becoming, and this is going to help you really get into the group of taking that responsibility and helping you have that motivation to get things done, instead of making it feel like, this is a chore. This is like something that, someone's pushing you to do. This is something that you feel as if that it's a responsibility. This is who I am. I'm gonna really claim it. I'm really gonna get it. And that has that motivation to help you, navigate through. In regards to a study in motivation and emotional, found that people with strong sense of purpose were more likely to sustain motivation through adversity, right? So when we have motivation, we have that positive mindset. In regards to our emotions as well, we're really writing things down, being more intuitive, having, understanding in regards to our purpose, our why. This is going to help us navigate through that resilience when things get tough. Next is going to be practical strategies for reigniting motivation, right? So motivation doesn't just have to be dramatic. Often, like I said, we should start small, be more practical, and creating a momentum where, that's going to be able to work for us. Everybody's different, and here are some strategies in regards to trying to, get that motivation, up when things is, tough and you're struggling. However, key point number one is going to be action over inspiration, right? So don't wait to feel motivated, right? Take one step of action, right, and work towards that goal. So motivation allows, focus and the flow of motion to follow, right? So it's better for you to, do something than just be talking about it, right? Let's just be real about it. The actions really what's going to get you to where you need to be, right? So like I said, put the inspirations, write the things down, but put it to action, get to work, right? Next is going to be make it ridiculously easy, right? So set goals that are small so that you're able to not even feel like it's not impossible for you to fail, right? For example, open my laptop instead of write a report, right? So you started there, you open the laptop, you already got one thing done, right? So now you're able to push yourself and get to the next thing, right? So start small and make your mind shift from, like I said earlier, those negative thought patterns, and really shift into those positive thought patterns. Moving on, we're going to talk about protect your energy, right? So get enough sleep, eat nourishing food, right? So how you eat, what you put in your body is going to make you, feel the way you feel, right? So take the breaks. In addition to this as well, right? So when we break things down, we're taking breaks, we're able to come back with a little bit more energy, and motivation gives us the fuel that we need as well, right? So have those affirmations. I want to tell you to pour that into you, right? Like really look at yourself in a different outlook, and like I said, claim it. This is who you are, and really just kind of, embrace it. Next is going to be celebrate tiny wins, right? So recognize your process and that progress, right? No matter how small it is. I'm big on food, and if it means, you sitting down at a little restaurant, treating yourself on a little meal, right? Enjoy that. You did what you had to do, right? But don't get it twisted, right? Make sure you're getting your work done and you're setting those goals and you're hitting your marks, right? Moving on to some, research insights from the British Journal of Health Psychology in 2016 found that breaks goals into small, achievable tasks significantly increase completion rates and boost long-term motivation, right? So like I said earlier, when we break things down into manageable, goals, this is going to be able to help us feel adequate, feel confident, feel good enough that we're able to get these things done without, feeling like we're a failure. And it's going to help us, moving on forward. However, our next segment, we're going to be talking about cultivating optimism and mental resilience, right? So when life feels uncertain and painful, right, it's easy for things to move down a spiral and feel hopeless, right? But being optimistic, having an open mindset, and it's not about ignoring the reality. It's about choosing to believe that growth isn't impossible, right? So when we kind of refrain from negative thoughts and move towards positive thoughts, this is going to help us move towards that resilience and navigate when things are tough. However, we want to start off with reframing challenging, right? So ask, what can we learn from this instead of why is this happening to me, right? So stop doing the blame game, me, right? You got to realize that life is bigger than this. People out here are going through similar situations or even worse, right? And it's really important for us to take in consideration that, we have to have a positive mindset and reframing from negative thoughts. Moving on to our next, we're going to be talking about practice gratitude. Even in dark moments, acknowledging small blessings can shift your perspective, right? So gratitude is really big, writing things down, really having the time to really sit down, do the reflective work. Like life is gonna be lifing, things are gonna be happening, right? And life is gonna be happening to us. But when we sit down in silence and we're able to just really be grateful, like, yo, I'm here, I'm breathing, right? I'm healthy, I'm alive, right? Things could be happening that's worse, but I'm still, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm cultivating this positive energy, right? This is really gonna be able to help us, right? And we also gotta take in consideration too, having that faith, right? We will get through this. We will see another day, right? But it's all about the mindset. Moving on to the next one is mindset matters, right? So research shows that people who expect things to improve tend to bounce back faster from adversity, right? That resilience, you're able to navigate through with that positive mindset. In the 2017 study, an emotional journal found that individuals who practice daily gratitude experience greater resilience and significantly lower stress levels, right? So this is going to help us reduce stress levels, right? That cortisol, we just don't want to be torn up from the flow up, right? So having that journal, having that gratitude, and really reframing from negative thought patterns is going to help us navigate through challenging times. Moving on to our next segment, we're going to be talking about leaning on connection and support. We got to really be able to advocate when things get tough. People can't read your mind, right? But I think it's really good for us to also read people's body language, help a friend, you know what I mean? But at the same time too, on a personal level, we have to be able to seek support. You don't have to be alone. In fact, trying to power through without support can drain your motivation even faster. So let's talk about, talk it out, right? So share your struggle with someone who you can trust. This can reduce your mental load and offer a new perspective, right? Next is going to be accountability helps, right? So talking to someone, taking the time to talk to someone is going to be able to help you, increase your goals and likelihood that you're going to be able to follow through as you're connecting with someone and taking accountability, almost like accountability partner. Next is going to be asking for help when needed, right? So getting support is a strength, not weakness. We really want to be able to take that in consideration because it's going to be helping you out to get where you need to be. Then trying to really just spend too much time trying to think about what other people think or what, all that other stuff. Let's just get results. Let's just really get to where we need to be. That's going to be able to help us out on a personal level, right? So take that into consideration because that is a strength. Next is going to be a 2022, APA review in regards to found that strong social support is one of the most protective factors against depression and burnout, right? So when we actively seek support, we have our own support system. We're talking to people, we have our accountability partner, and we're doing the proper research and we're getting those, results. The results are going to be, is moving away from depression and burnout. This is going to be able to help us, having that support system. In regards to our conclusion, process over perfection, we really want to take into consideration that motivation comes and goes, right? As life goes up and down. But what keeps us having that willing to take another step forward is breaking things into smaller tasks, as we mentioned. You don't have to feel like you have everything figured out. You don't have to feel like, like everything has to be the way things have to be, but it's just making sure that you show up for yourself, right? Love yourself, have that compassion, have that gratitude, right? And your resilience is stronger than you think. And like we talked about earlier, is that do different things that are going to be able to help you have positivity, right, in your life in regards to writing things down, the people that you interact with, and even what you consume into your mind, right? If you found this video beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share, comment if necessary. Thank you for that, Umeh.